Good evening, dear viewers, and welcome to the News Bulletin at 8, brought to you by number one news provider Eswatini TV. I am Ndumiso Vilagata alongside Nomacabison Kambule, and here are your top stories. His Majesty King Mswati III has met the Commonwealth Secretary-General Dr. Patricia Scotland. Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini has commended the role played by the World Customs Organization in ensuring that importing and exporting of goods is made easier in the country. The Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku says NGOs that run child care facilities are a great asset to the Kingdom of Eswatini. The news. His Majesty King Mswati III has met with the Commonwealth Secretary-General Dr. Patricia Scotland. During the meeting, His Majesty and the Secretary-General discussed issues around the youth development and digital transformation.
Hi. Nice to see you too. Very lucky. Nice to see you.
While in London, His Majesty King Mswati III met with the Commonwealth Secretary-General Patricia Scotland. The Secretary-General paid a courtesy call on His Majesty. The meeting was about renewing and assuring His Majesty that the Commonwealth Organization is behind Eswatini as the kingdom is striving towards development. His Majesty and the Secretary-General discussed issues around youth empowerment. During the meeting, the King revealed that Commonwealth countries should have programs put in place that will help to empower the youth. Digital transformation and the promotion of e-government and e-commerce is another important platform that was discussed. His Majesty also disclosed about the upcoming elections in the kingdom, which are expected to begin 10 May 2023. The Commonwealth Organization promised to support training of public service into the digital era and share their technological expertise. As every country has to have a digital structure, the Royal Science and Technology Park will be very key in the Commonwealth new developments. Present during the meeting was Prince Kuduza, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Thuli Dladla, and the High Commissioner in the United Kingdom, Her Excellency Thandazile Mbuyisa. The Kingdom of Eswatini joined the Commonwealth Organization in 1968 upon being granted independence by the United Kingdom. The organization has about 56 member states, including Eswatini, and its aim is to assist member states to develop in many forms. Eswatini's commitment in the organization is as great as many members. The Kingdom remains fully committed to supporting and implementing the guiding principles of the Commonwealth. On the day before the coronation of King Charles III, member states were invited by the King to a meeting on youth issues at Marlborough House in London. During that meeting, His Majesty King Mswati III and other leaders pledged on continued unity and to empower the youth. On the news, I'm Polile Mazia in London.
Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini has commended the role played by the World Customs Organization in ensuring that importing and exporting of goods is made easier in the country. The Prime Minister said this during a courtesy call by World Customs Organization Secretary-General Dr. Kuniya Mikuria at Cabinet offices in Babane.
Speaking when welcoming the World Customs Organization Secretary-General Dr. Kuniya Mikuria, the Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini says His Majesty's government and the people of Eswatini appreciate the technical and capacity-building support received from the World Customs Organizations across the key functions of the Eswatini Revenue Service, namely revenue collection, trade facilitation, economic competitiveness, safety and security.
Secretary-General, you have come at an opportune time where the country has adopted the new National Development Plan for the period 2023-24 to 26-27. The National Development Plan is a strategic document that guides and represents an opportunity for government to deliver on the aspirations and desires of Eswatini. The country is also implementing the post-COVID-19 economic recovery plan, which entails resuscitating the economy through project-based approach driven by the private sector, supported and enabled by His Majesty's government.
The World Customs Organization Secretary General Dr. Kuniyo Mukuria says the Eswatini Revenue Service has played a magnificent role since its inception back in 2011, and as a member of the World Customs Organization, they will make sure ERS gets their full support.
Our major objective is, our vision is borders divide, customs connect. Therefore, ensure connectivity at the borders is our utmost objective, and for that we produce standards or providing assistance.
The Prime Minister further highlighted that the country will soon be embarking on the implementation of the Single Government Authorized Economic Operator, which is an initiative that has been agreed at SACU level. For Eswatini TV News, Eswatini with Themba Shabangu, Mbabane.
The Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku says NGOs that run child care facilities areas are a great asset to the Kingdom of Eswatini. Masuku says these NGOs provide shelter and care to unwanted children, among others, and they do that without any financial assistance from government. Masuku has said this in Senate during the debate and adoption of the Children's Protection and Welfare Approved Residential Child Care Facilities Regulations of 2022.
This motion was moved by Senator Prince Mshengu and seconded by Senator Mkhululi Dlamini.
Uma uthatha kubuka mengameli kuye kube netinhlelo lokhanza ukuthi tiye tibe khona kulama facilities. Kusinikile ke mengameli kubona lokuthi umhlonishwa DPM kusukela nyalo kulama regulations kuyaveta ukuthi batatelusa letindzawo letigcina labantwana.
Siswati kuhlonipha kumati umuntu lomdzala kwati ukuthi na ufika endzaweni ukhanza abantu wenda njani nase silahlekelwa ngiloko ngaloko ukuthi labantwana mhlawumbe leyo center kumbe iwamithe onke lama requirements lakawashito DPM kulomthetho khishile kahle bantwana bayanakekelwa bayakhona kugeza geja bese ekugcineni bakhomba umlo omdzala emehlweni lolo lobagadzako bamtshele ukuthi hey, you can't tell me that.
Other senators also made submissions.
Umntwana inkosi longisekhonda wale motion ushito lo phakamisele motion uthi ungasila bantwana ungagcina kwakhwathi inhlelo kubonakala ukuthi kushehla akube must kubonakala ukuthi kungena kanjani ngoba ukhanza ukuthi lapha sebakhona kwa sebakhungekekile abasakhoni kuyamenyetwa nje so inkosi yamemeta umhlanga kuyamenyetwa ukuthi bantwana bangaba emhlangeni kuyamenyetwa lusekwane ukhanze ukuthi vele ngale mithetho yakhona bavalelekile
labantu labagcine labantwana mhlambe kutawusita kuphendule imbunga le sanza kusho la kude nazuka lesimbhadalako ngolabantu labanta lamakhaya from the goodness of their hearts bakhipha ekhikhini labo basinakele labantwana kuthi budget nje thina lesitho itawu yakuphi kuphi itawu yakuphi kuphi.
The House passed this motion, which now means the regulations will soon come into effect. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosima Vimbela with Skhumbuzo Dlamini, Parliament.
The World Health Organization has presented cholera kits, infection prevention and control commodities worth $743,000 to the Ministry of Health. The Minister for Health, Lee Zingosi, says with effects of cyclone and floods in neighboring countries, hospitals are prepared to deal with expected increase of cholera due to cross-border movements.
The World Health Organization has supported the Kingdom of Eswatini with needed material and supplies to prevent cholera infections. Presenting the cholera kits, the acting WHO country representative Dr. Godfrey Bisaboa says the ministry should not wait for emergency but can utilize the supplies immediately.
Let's not say that these things have come for an epidemic, no. let's immediately make a plan of distributing them to the health facilities, and we begin using them straight away. If we need more, we'll add for more at a particular time. Let's not wait at all. Immediately let them go and they begin getting used. Because most of these things, as I said, gloves, IV fluids, cannulas, needles, giving sets, those mothers, those children, those sick people, they need them in the health facilities.
The Minister for Health, Elizinkosi, says the Ministry of Health has put together the first strategic tool for assessing risks.
Currently, there have been 2 confirmed cases with no deaths. In terms of epidemiology, there's no linkage between the 2 confirmed cases, which also means there's a possibility that we could have concurrent spread in the 2 regions.
The medical supplies will be dispersed to different health facilities. The World Health Organization had commissioned a technical mission that did a field investigation led by Professor Ade. For Eswatini TV News, Sondomlangeni, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Mbabane.
The country's gross official reserves stood at 9.3 billion emalangeni, equivalent to an import cover of 3 months in April this year, showing an increase when compared to the previous year, meaning Eswatini is now in line with what is recommended by the International Monetary Fund. This was said by the Governor, Dr. Philip when he delivered the 2022-2023 monetary policy statement at Happy Valley Hotel at Eswatini.
The governor says the reserves had decelerated to a low level of 7.6 billion emalangeni in December 2022 compared to 9 billion emalangeni in the year 2021. He further states that the average inflation forecast is slightly revised upwards to 5.56% for this year and 5.29% in the year 2024. In the year 2025, the inflation projection has been revised down to 5.14%.
Vele umnotho akusiwo lokhula kahle. Imbangela yaloku sitawukhumbula sonke umthelela we-COVID-19 nga-2020 kuya ku-2022. Lokunye lokubangela lo mkhuhlane lo semnothweni ngunayi impi lekhona eRussia nase-Ukraine.
The governor has also said a 4 billion emalangeni program will be listed at the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, and the target is to conduct the first issuance during the 2023-2024 financial year.
Sibuke ukuthi asifukule kuhlangabeza noma kuletha imali eveni si liste le bond eSouth Africa lekusho ukuthi sizakwenda the South African market, South African investors bathenge le bond le mali ikhona ekutawungena la ekhaya itawuhlangabeza tidzingo tahulumende ichubeke ihlangabeze netidzingo tekukhulisa umnotho wesive seMaswati.
Dr. Mnisi says during the period ending 31st March this year, notes issued amounted to 6.8 billion emalangeni and coins amounted to 34 million emalangeni. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Ezulwini.
The World Health Organization acting country representative in Eswatini, Dr. Geoffrey Busabura, says WHO has declared that the COVID-19 pandemic is no longer a global health emergency. Dr. Geoffrey says this decision comes after relevant consultations. Dr. Busabura says this doesn't mean that COVID-19 safety precautions be put aside.
There are certain standard operating procedures which operate in an emergency concern, where resources of WHO and other organizations, including the human resources, almost all get repurposed or focused to address an emergency. But considering the level of the emergency in terms of the cases, in terms of the severity, in terms of the death, we have reached a point where the committee responsible advised the Director General that can be now degraded. It means now we move from a situation whereby we stop repurposing all the resources of the organization and by implication, the member states and other organizations to specifically COVID. But COVID remains a public health issue. It remains a public health problem. And all the measures which have been put in place to prevent and control the COVID-19 needs to be in place. For example, continuing with the vaccination, continuing with the preventive measures. For example, if you have a flu, cough, or those symptoms of COVID, to be in isolation or to put a mask.
The Food and Agriculture Organization has supported the Ministry of Agriculture with funding worth $1.1 million, which will be used to upscale innovative and nature-based horticultural production to improve resilience to climate change. According to the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Sydney Simelane, the Technical Cooperation Program will provide opportunities for young people to be involved in baby vegetable production. Simelane was speaking during the official launch of the TCP 2023-2025.
The Ministry of Agriculture, together with the Food and Agricultural Organization, has officially launched a project that FAO has approved under the Technical Cooperation Program for a period of 3 years. The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Sydney Simelane, says the main purpose of the launch is to facilitate wide awareness to all stakeholders and secure commitment to fully participate in these projects that will contribute to a more efficient and sustainable food systems in Eswatini.
May I take this opportunity to once again thank the Food and Agriculture Organization for their continued support. Not only are they supporting with financial resources, but also with technical expertise in implanting all the above-mentioned initiatives the ministry is implementing. We kindly request other partners to join hands as more is required in the investment plan.
The FAO Assistant Representative Kanyisile Mabuza says FAO is looking to promote decent youth employment.
Technical assistance to explore feasibility of inclusive agricultural community enterprise development and aggregating models, which farmers can use it nasemabhange nakuphi to get funding. Lengakusho ukuthi, the total contribution from FAO is $1.187 million. US dollars, which translates to 21 million emalangeni.
Mabuza further stated that FAO is committed to supporting the government in a quest to endeavor towards ensuring national and household food security and sustainable growth for the national economy. For Eswatini TV News, Ndomlangeni, Themba Shabangu, Ezulwini.
The Governor of the Central Bank of Eswatini, Dr. Philip Nisi, says the central bank digital currency research and experimentation outcome is expected in October this year. The Governor said this shortly after delivering the annual monetary policy statement at Happy Valley, Ezulwini.
The Governor says they are hoping that before the end of the year, they would know if Eswatini can explore using the central bank digital currency.
Ungasakhiphi nje lilangeni noma 2 emalangeni noma 5 emalangeni but ukhokhe imali le digital. Le project lena iyachubeka i-outcome yayo nje siyibheke ukuthi nga-October itabe phumelele uma konke kuhamba kahle sitawugcina sesine what we call central bank digital currency.
On another note, the Governor further warned Eswatini on uncontrolled dye-stained banknotes resulting from ATM bombings. He says the public should know that this money is from proceeds of crime.
Sexwayisa kakhulu nje sive semaswati ukuthi caphela imali le-stained. Lokwendeka ukuthi kulama ATMs uma utama kuyishaya iyabhoma le ATM kunendlela lekhona la kuyo bese seyichitha le inki ingcolisa le mali yangcola le mali ayisekho emthethweni ukuthi ichubeke isebende.
The central bank governor has made it clear that if issued, the digital lilangeni will not replace cash. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Ezulwini.
Nampot's Chief Executive Officer Bhekizwe Mazia says they are working on reducing the payment period for farmers who have supplied Nampot. The Chief Executive Officer said this during an interview on what the public enterprise is doing to help farmers grow their businesses in the country whilst increasing the supply of vegetables.
We have been able to improve the farmer payment turnaround time to pay within 14 days of time. Otherwise, our ultimate target is to eventually pay within 7 days of produce delivery. We have also recently announced that Nampot is ISO 10,000 certified now. This is speaking to the quality of produce that is being supplied to the market, in particular the export market that are very particular to the quality of standards. As Nampot, we are also in a drive now to identify farmers that will be in a position to catch up to the standard through capacity building from us and training, so that they are also certified at the end of the day, so that the value chain becomes complete, with the farmer being certified from the ground and the produce getting to the cold chain facility from Nampot through the pack house and eventually to the market as a certified product. As Nampot, we are continuing to make improvements to the satisfactory of the farmers.
Dear viewers, now take a look at our financial updates. Welcome back. You're still watching Eswatini TV, and for our sports news tonight, Mbabane Swallows head coach Caleb Ngwenya says they committed too many mistakes in their loss against Royal Leopard in a Premier League game that was played at Mavuso Sports Centre, which ended Swallows' hopes of representing the country at the CAF Confederations Cup. The defeat meant Swallows will finish the season in position 3 behind Young Buffaloes and Green Mamba.
Over the years, the rivalry between Mbabane Swallows and Royal Leopard has produced fireworks, and this past weekend, the match between the two local giants gave football fanatics something to talk about for the rest of the week, as Royal Leopard thrashed Mbabane Swallows with 4-2, which confirmed that Swallows are not going to play in Africa next season. After the game, Swallows fans were after coach Caleb's blood.
We could have done better, but the mistakes cost us. It happens every day in football. Yeah, it's hard to take this, but the result, we have to take it because that is how it's it. We had hope for the best. We couldn't.
Royal Leopard coach Edwin Matsabula says they did their homework better than Mbabane Swallows.
Okay, let's go into that. From games I picked up the center backs they are very slow. I was not quick enough. So then I think I'm pressing high because of their weakness. They're going to be slow. They're going to be quick. Then what's benefit?
Swallows is in third position and they will play their last game against Manzini Sipets. Young Buffaloes in second place will play their last game against Tambuti. And lastly, local leaders Green Mamba will play their last game against defending champions Royal Leopard. Moving on with cricket, local cricket players were over the moon with the return of the A-League division at the Malkans Country Club over the weekend.
It helps bring players around from around the country, improve our skill set, gives us match time, which makes it more competitive. If we don't play these competitive leagues, we how can I say, we don't upskill our up-and-coming players.
And people seeing that we're playing national cricket, that'll inspire the younger guys to start playing cricket and then hopefully join our league here and improve themselves. And then from there, hopefully a lot of them will end up playing for the national side.
8 cricket teams will compete in this year's A Division League, and 2 teams with the least number of points will get the job to the B Division. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports, I'm Linda Dlamini, Mbabane.
That is all we had for tonight, but before we wrap up, we'll take a quick recap of today's headlines. His Majesty King Mswati III has met the Commonwealth Secretary-General Dr. Patricia Scotland. Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini has commended the role played by the World Customs Organization in ensuring that importing and exporting of goods is made easier in the country. The Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku says NGOs that run childcare facilities are a great asset to the Kingdom of Eswatini. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin tonight. Up next is the weather forecast for selected towns. Good night, Eswatini.